Hello, welcome back. We'll begin as usual with a short period of meditation. So please find the posture that you are most comfortable in for meditation, your usual posture. And because we've just been commemorating the anniversary of Luang Por Chah's death, so it's 30 years ago that he left us. It's a good way to begin our meditation is to recollect the teacher, Ajahn Chah. It's the practice known as Sanghanussati, a recollection of the Sangha or the qualities of the Sangha that we chant when we do morning, evening chanting. We'll recite that the Sangha are those who've practiced well, practiced directly, practiced insightfully, practiced with integrity. There was a very brief explanations of the kind of qualities that the noble ones embody. And then there are individuals that we may have met or heard of, such as Ajahn Chah, who may have been inspired by videos of him, or reading or hearing his teachings, or you may have been fortunate enough to have actually met him when he was alive. But in any way you feel connected to Ajahn Chah, this is how we begin the meditation. Maybe you visualize your favorite picture of Ajahn Chah in your mind, so bring that visual image to mind. Or maybe recollect a certain teaching of his. So he's well known for his teaching of letting go. Or another one is, it's not sure, pointing to the uncertainty of life, this body, this mind. So you can also recollect a teacher through the teachings, but also these main qualities of the Sangha. Anyone who practices the Eightfold Noble Path, aiming at Nibbana, liberating themselves from all forms of suffering, releasing their mind from all forms of attachment, abandoning all forms of craving, greed, anger, delusion. They will have to develop these same qualities as Ajahn Chah, as every other noble being, man or woman, monk or nun. So these qualities are impersonal. When we think of Ajahn Chah, really it's these qualities that he developed in his own practice and then shared back to us through his example, through his words, just through his good energy for those who were with him could feel that. So Sanghanussati is pointing to these qualities of a noble one, which ultimately are impersonal, even though the person may have them, may develop them. We may develop them as well, but it's not to boost our personality as such. We are focusing our mind to develop the Eightfold Path and these qualities to free our mind from suffering. So Marga is the path, that we cultivate, we develop every day. Pala is the fruit, the result. So we believe, for example, that Ajahn Chah experienced the path, the fruit, and then shared out of compassion with his wisdom, shared that back with us, right down to today. So whether you're listening to a talk of Ajahn Chah, reading a book, or just recollecting the person or these aspects of him that we can still connect to today, what you're aiming to do is to incline your own mind towards these same qualities that he represents in whatever way you remember or perceive him. So you might say these are perceptions, skillful perceptions that you're cultivating at this time as you practice Sanghanussati, recollecting Ajahn Chah. So it may be the great sense of peace. Certainly many people who encountered Ajahn Chah felt very peaceful in his presence. Many people who had stress, problems, go to bow and sit down next to Ajahn Chah and all their problems seem to disappear, replaced by a very pleasant feeling coming from the arising of skillful mental states, such as faith, energy, goodwill, mindfulness, wisdom. So even though the teacher, Ajahn Chah, is no longer with us, practicing Sanghanussati, recollecting the teacher, we can bring our mind to those same qualities, or bring up those qualities in the mind. And for many people, this is the arising of faith, which brightens the mind, energizes the mind, brings this sense of peace, confidence in the practice to go on and develop the meditation further. When we practice Sanghanussati with the arising of faith, the recollecting of the teacher and the qualities of good practice and integrity and insight, then that is preparing our own mind, helping us to abandon the 5 hindrances. So it's quite possible that recollecting the teacher can bring your mind to enter a state of samadhi, one-pointedness, where the mind is focused on the breath, for instance, but also recollecting the teacher and the qualities of the teacher. Another well-known teacher passed away a couple of nights ago, Thich Nhat Hanh. Many people have practiced with him or heard his talks over the years. So I'm sure many of his students can do the same, even though they've lost their teacher now, just like we've lost Ajahn Chah. Now is the time to bring the mind to focus on the qualities of the teacher. Recollect the words of the teacher. Recollect the different practices that the teacher encouraged. And in this way, a little bit of Ajahn Chah is still with us in our heart. Could be Thich Nhat Hanh. If you were a student of Thich Nhat Hanh, you could still bring up Thich Nhat Hanh in your heart. And this is how we preserve the teacher and their good practice, but our own good practice develops from this. And the ultimate aim is to bring the mind to see the Dhamma, develop the same insight into the impermanent and selfless nature of phenomena that Ajahn Chah had, or that Thich Nhat Hanh had. And the idea is that when the mind has cultivated the path, the Eightfold Path, the result is that these qualities are there. These qualities are both the path and the fruit together. Even though we're on the outside, we're all different people, different personalities, different age, different gender, different background. These qualities of Dhamma that arise through the good practice are universal. We can all incline our minds to them, experience them for ourselves. And the importance of the external personality that is normally so much of a big thing for us and confuses us and causes us so much suffering. As we meditate like this, recollecting the qualities of Sangha, the noble Sangha, the normal attachment to the personality, identity with who we are, who we think we are, drops away. And this is where samadhi arises. And as Ajahn Chah said, when samadhi arises, then contemplate. Contemplate to see the selfless and impermanent nature of body and mind. So even though meditating on Ajahn Chah may seem like attaching to a personality or a person, when cultivated correctly, brings the mind to a point where it's dropped the hindrances, experiencing samadhi, and the sense of a person, a being, begins to drop away. But we can also investigate it and see where attachment to the sense of a person, a being, brings suffering. When we see through that, then we want to let go. And we experience the real Ajahn Chah. It's a term that you hear often in the West. Who was Ajahn Chah? What is the real Ajahn Chah? It's this knowing, this quality of knowing, sila, samadhi, panya, seeing the impermanent, unsatisfactory, selfless nature of phenomena, and letting go.